Hello, everybody. This is me, Martin Owens, Inkscape developer, here to give you another weekly update for all of my lovely Patreons. First of all, let me say thank you very much to everybody who's patronizing me, helping me develop Inkscape. And boy, what a busy week it's been. First of all, personal calamities aside, I had to fix the sink drain in my kitchen because as I was washing the dishes the other day, I had this flood of water just seeped out, and I opened it up, and the drainage pipes were all broken. Basically, they'd all rusted away, all copper pipes. So I spent that entire day learning how to fit PVC piping for drainage. Turns out well. It's actually not that hard. So it's been one of those weeks. So the first thing is I wanted to say another thank you for the people who from Vectors and the rest of Inkscape that got me this award. It's so lovely to have. I don't know if you can see because it's perspex. It's so lovely to have such a great Inkscape community. That's from other volunteers. There's not an Inkscape budget that paid for that. There's not employees that organised it. It's just people coming together, and that was to say thank you for running the hack fests a few weeks ago. So my heart goes out because it's really sweet of them, and the community is great like that. Like this week, I had 3 instances where people asked me to de-escalate conflicts. Basically, 2 individuals in the Inkscape community, they were having a bit of a fight. They weren't understanding each other. Sometimes talking past each other, and so I had to stand in, and we have a code of conduct that you can follow to try and get people back onto track. So anyway, with that all aside, let's get into the nuts of what happened this week. I did some speed testing with Javier. What we did is we took Inkscape version 1.1, the master branch, and we wanted to see whether some of the changes that he's doing to the rendering to improve the responsiveness of zoom was going to cause any regressions, i.e. it was going to make it slower. And I hacked together a Python script which allowed us to basically stick 2 pins inside of Inkscape, and then every time it ran over the pins it would tell me how fast it was going, and I created some nice graphs so that I could basically tell Javier whether the rendering was being slow. We had a really fun rumble in the extensions repository. We had a mathematics versus aesthetics debate, trying to fix what looks on the surface to be a problem in the way extensions do transformations. So it's like a transformations throwdown, and we had Wendell, Sergey, Mark, even Stephanie, and myself coming together trying to figure out whether mathematicians should win or whether the API should be designed in a way that's consistent with SVG. It looks like Python saved the day, so that was a fun thing. Separately from that, the first part of this week was actually taken up with installing the website statistics package. So I wrote a Django-based website statistics, and it allows us to parse all of the logs that we have for all of the people that visit the website, who download Inkscape, and then find out what operating system they're using, what browser they're using, what country they're from, what language that they're looking at. So we can kind of get a sense of where Inkscape is being used. And so, the graphs are pretty simple. They're open to anybody. You can have a look at them if you like. But what surprised me actually is that Spanish is one of the biggest languages being used. And it also surprised me actually how many visitors we get from China, or from Chinese IP addresses. I thought there would be a lot less, to be honest, but it's second only to the United States. Operating system wise, it's no big surprise. The majority of people are Windows by a large margin. Mac OS, not as many people as you might expect actually. Linux and Android, very popular. Download wise, the Windows is by far and away the biggest download, with Mac coming in second. You can see actually that even though Mac and Linux have the same number of visitors to the website, the number of downloads from Linux is much lower, and that's because most Linux users don't get it from the website. They get it through the package manager. So that gives us a good sense of how many people are basically in Linux versus Mac. And it also gives us some internal stats, so that we're trying to do a new website, and this will give us some good information about which areas of the website need to be designed and prioritized. So that was a lot of work, but I'm glad it's got done. It's not perfect, but it'll definitely do for now. And then I finished this week by doing do you remember the modifiers work that I was doing? So this is where you can change the preferences for the mouse shortcuts. So where you would hold down the Control or Shift keys to constrain boxes and to activate different features with the mouse. Before they were baked in, and I wanted to make it so that they could be changed. Mostly so that Illustrator users could have an Illustrator profile, a keyboard profile that actually fit better what Illustrator does. This is mostly just to make it more comfortable for them. So this week I put together the preferences interface. So it allows you to select each of the available mouse-based actions, and then you can change the modifier, adding Control, Shift, Alt. Meta is like the Windows key or the Apple key. And then you can even disable them as well. So like if there's a piece of functionality, scrolling, I know that canvas rotation, for example, people may want to just disable that or change it because it's currently got weirdly conflicting modifier keys. Stuff like that. The interface hopefully will allow people to experiment and test the functionality, because I suspect that as people attempt to change these modifiers, they're going to find bugs, because Inkscape's hard-baked past is hard to unpick. And so we don't know whether there's precedents and other stuff that will stop certain functionality from happening. But that's a lot of fun. Moving that forwards a little bit more. That should now, I think, be in 1.1 when it comes out. So that's about it for this week. I updated my Patreon introduction video, which was great. Umaileni gave me sort of like some tips for how to improve my presentation, which was great. And I've been having lots of lovely discussions on Twitter with people. So thank you all very much, and until next week, let me know if there's anything in Inkscape you want me to focus on or you find interesting, and please do support me if you think my work is worth your money. And thank you. Have a very good week.